Sugar, you can break up with your bad habits for good with just one simple step. And I'm about to share it with you. Okay, Sugar, the truth is, we all have bad habits. And we all have some bad habits that we want to break. But like most of my clients, you've probably found that breaking up with your bad habits is not easy. No matter how hard you try or what you try, those bad habits just keep on showing up and holding you back. Last week, I talked about the top 5 habits that sabotage your success. Today, I'm going to share with you a simple method that will help you break those bad habits or any bad habit for good. And because this method is really simple, this episode is going to be really short. Here we go. Here's the method. To break your bad habits, you have to look at your beliefs. That's it. That's the method. See you next time. Okay, no. No. Seriously, let me unpack this. Let me unpack this a little bit more for you. When trying to break our bad habits, most of us will engage in some form of behavior modification. We will get the planner, use a to-do list, don't buy the cookies, try really, really hard to not do the thing, try really, really hard to do the right thing, say the right thing, check all of the boxes, only to find ourselves exhausted, overwhelmed, and falling right back into the pattern of our bad habit. This is because only using behavior modification to break our bad habits does not work. And here's why. Number 1, behavior modification requires us to focus only on our behaviors. Basically, we are trying to break a habit by changing what we are doing without addressing what we are thinking, believing, feeling. Let's use weight loss as an example. If I believe that I shouldn't have to exercise because I was skinny my whole life and never had to exercise, I may resent the fact that my doctor is telling me that I now have to exercise. And the behavior that naturally follows that belief is that I'm not going to the gym. I will not exercise. I can buy the membership, get the clothes, set the alarm, and all of the other tactics to modify my behavior. But if my belief is still that I shouldn't have to go to the gym, then when that alarm goes off, I'm still not going. Or I might go to the gym once or twice, but it will not become a new behavior pattern for me. Merely attempting to control our behaviors does not help us to break our bad habits. Number 2, behavior modification does not take our feelings into account. Again, behavior modification only focuses on adjusting your behavior, not how you feel about whatever it is that you're facing. Let's go back to that weight loss example. Notice I said I was skinny my whole life, which, by the way, that's not true, Sugar. That is not true. This is just an example. I was not skinny. But if I were skinny my whole life and never had to work out, I now resent my doctor for telling me that I must exercise. That resentment, that emotion, is getting in the way of me breaking my bad habit. Traditional behavior modification does not provide steps to address how you feel. It basically requires you to ignore your feelings. But you and I both know that we cannot ignore our feelings, nor should we. Let me pause right here and give a little context on these feelings. While our feelings are absolutely important, they should never dictate your behavior, nor serve as an excuse for our actions. Our feelings can be fickle. They change frequently, and they can be wrong. Real wrong. Because our feelings are often based in our assessment of something, if our assessment or our understanding is wrong, then our feelings will be wrong too. And whatever we said or did out of our wrong feelings might cost us that relationship, that opportunity, that next level. This is why we should never act out of our feelings and allow our feelings to dictate our behavior. Starting today, I want you to view your feelings as indicators, not dictators. Like the indicator lights in your car. When the gas light comes on, it's telling you that it's close to empty. The tire light indicates that your tire pressure is low. And the check engine light means it's time to park it and let a professional take a look. Same thing with us, Sugar. Our feelings are indicating that there's something going on within us. Our energy levels might be close to empty. Our patience might be running low. And that anxiety, overwhelm, depression that you feel means that it's time to park it on a couch and let a professional have a look. But regardless of the feeling, when it comes to breaking a bad habit, we have to address our feelings in a healthy way so that we can better understand how this feeling is fueling our bad habit and keeping us in the pattern of that bad habit. Number 3, behavior modification does not help us break our bad habits because it relies on willpower. And willpower will only take us so far. Willpower is only meant to get us going, to get us started, not to sustain us for the journey. So when we are trying to force ourselves into a new behavior pattern using only willpower, the results will be temporary. This is why we have so many stops and starts where you will start the good habit, but in a few weeks or months or even a year, you stop the good habit and that bad habit reemerges. How long you stick with the good habit depends on how much willpower you have. And once you run out of willpower, you are right back into the pattern of your bad habits. And once you get locked into this pattern of starting and stopping, stopping and starting, you will eventually feel defeated and believe that you can never break the habit, which will ultimately lead you to giving up. Number 4, last one. Behavior modification is overwhelming. Each time we identify a bad habit, behavior modification says we have to create a new strategy, tactic, trick to break that bad habit. Well, what if I have a bunch of bad habits? I mean, if I have 10 bad habits, that means I have to keep up with 10 new tactics. And I don't know about you, but that's a lot for me to remember. Do this, don't do that. On Wednesday, say this. On Thursday, do that. Check the box, stand on one leg, cluck like a chicken. It's overwhelming. And let's not forget, science says that it takes approximately 2 months or 60 days to develop a new habit. So you mean to tell me that I have to remember all of these new tactics for 60 days before it sticks? Yeah, no, that's too much. And if I have to keep up with a new strategy each time I need to break a bad habit, then that habit might as well just move in because I'm not going to remember all of that. And it will have me so overwhelmed that I just give up altogether. Now that we know that why behavior modification alone does not work to break our bad habits, let me tell you what does. And it's exactly what I said during the introduction. To break your bad habits, you must check your beliefs. By beliefs, I'm including your thoughts, your values, your cultural beliefs, your emotions, or anything and anyone that shapes what you believe to be true. Our beliefs drive our behavior. We cannot create a lasting change in our behaviors without first changing our beliefs. Our bad habits are behaviors that stem from our beliefs. So, for example, if I grew up in a home where we frequently yelled at each other, and again, sugar, this is just an example. I did not grow up in a home where we yelled. This is purely just an example. But if I did, I would believe that yelling at people is acceptable. It's normal. It's how you communicate. My belief then drives my behavior of yelling. So when I get in my own home with my own spouse and my own family, I will have a bad habit of yelling. Now, if I try to break this bad habit by just modifying my behavior, using willpower to try really hard not to yell, putting a rubber band on my wrist to pop it each time I yelled, the only thing I will have is a swollen wrist and major tongue bites from me trying really hard not to yell. And before long, when someone says the wrong thing on the right day, what you think I'm gonna do? Yell till I'm blue in the face. If I never change my philosophy on yelling, if I hold on to the belief that yelling is a healthy way to communicate, then the only thing I will ever accomplish is temporary behavior modification, where I may not yell for a day, a week, a month, but I will never break my bad habit. Until you change your belief about the behavior, you cannot change the behavior. If there's a behavior or bad habit that you desperately want to break, you have to go deeper past the behavior and ask yourself, what is it that I believe? Then put your energy, time, focus on challenging and changing that belief. Now, sugar, when uncovering your beliefs, don't be alarmed if you discover that some of the things you believed were actually lies. Now, they may be hard to spot at first because they don't always look like lies. They look like traditions, like truth, like things you've seen and heard your entire life. Let me give you an example, a real example. Now, this is actually an example. This is me. I used to believe that I was not pretty. It had nothing to do with what I saw in the mirror. I didn't believe I was pretty because I was repeatedly told that I looked like my father and that side of my family. That my face, my big head, my forehead, my thick body shape, my hair, it all came from my father's side of the family, which is true. Sugar, is true. It is true. That is truth. But the problem was I didn't have a good relationship with my father. I actually talked about this with my father in a previous episode that I put the link to that in the description. But because I was angry with him for over 25 years and didn't speak to him for about 10, my connection with that side of my family was tenuous at best. And he definitely was not someone that I wanted to look like, resemble, emulate, or have anything to do with. He was an ugly person to me. So if I looked just like him, then I must be ugly too. This is how a lie became my belief. This lie that was rooted in some truth and sprinkled with my hurt feelings became my belief that drove my self-sabotaging, low self-esteem behaviors. And my behaviors did not change until I faced the lie that had become my belief. Sugar, this belief was so entrenched that it took me years to change it. But when I did, I didn't have to do any behavior modification to stop my self-sabotaging, low self-esteem bad habits. When I changed my beliefs, my behaviors, and my bad habits, they start to change on their own. Did you catch that, Sugar? When you focus on changing your beliefs, your behaviors will automatically begin to change. You won't have to memorize a ton of behavior modification strategies for each bad habit or rely on your willpower to force you to stop a bad habit. Your behaviors will naturally flow from your beliefs, and you'll find it easier to break the bad habits and adopt the good habits that you desire. Now, let me give you a caveat for this. For any habits that change our physiology or in any way causes any type of physical, mental, or chemical dependence, you may need to seek assistance of a medical professional to break those bad habits. Like, we may sincerely believe that caffeine is bad for us and desperately want to break the habit of our caffeine consumption. But after 10 plus years of that morning coffee, your body is going to have a physical reaction when you try to stop giving it caffeine. So our belief may not be enough to help us break the bad habit in our bodies. But know that there is no shame in that. You still don't have to behavior modify, white knuckle it, or cold turkey your way into good habits. A professional will be able to provide you with the assistance that will help you align your body and your behaviors with your beliefs. But no matter what the bad habit is, the key to breaking it is to investigate what you truly believe and commit to changing your beliefs so that you can change your life. Now, if you need help challenging and changing your beliefs, let's chat so that I can help you achieve the life you desire and deserve. Thanks for watching, Sugar. See you in the next video.